Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun scroll saw project video, I have a nice Christmas theme designed by Steve Good. I've already got the pattern printed out, prepped, and attached to our material with clear packing tape. And the material we're going to be using is more of the leftover cedar fence picket we used in a previous video. Remember, we picked up a couple of these from the Builder Center. They were $1.50 a piece as US currency. They were 3/8 inch in thickness. They were very rough cut, and we ran them through the thickness planer to get them just a little over 1/2 inch in thickness to show off that beautiful grain texture there. And we used that to bring to life our first Christmas project over on the channel, which was the small segmented desktop nativity scene. And I said at the end of that video I would like to use more of it just to show how much mileage you could get out of a single fence picket out in your garage or workshop making beautiful designs. As I said, the pattern is printed out and attached to our material with clear packing tape, and this is an older Steve Good design, so please keep that in mind. And what we're going to be making is a starred layered Christmas tree, and here is the design. Basically what you're going to be doing is cutting out a bunch of these star shapes. There's no interior cuts on this project whatsoever. They are all outside perimeter cut lines, and you can see they start off big and then they progressively get smaller and smaller, making up that triangle shape of a classic Christmas tree. And sitting at the top of the tree appropriately will be a Christmas angel. And you see all of these little circles here throughout the project, and even the outline of one here for where you will drill into the base of the angel to accept a 1/4 inch dowel rod. You will need a small piece of this. I hope this is enough that I had left over from a previous project, and you're going to run that up through the center of the tree to help you properly align everything during the assembly process. So that's the only kind of hole we're going to have to drill in this project, and I feel with the simplistic nature of this project with no internal cuts whatsoever, this would be a great little project to bring the little ones out into the garage or workshop, and with proper guidance teach them or maybe even introduce them to scroll saw woodworking. I know it would probably make a great Christmas memory to make something out in a garage or workshop with a little one or a loved one even. So really neat. Scroll saws are very versatile tools, and you do not have to make overly complex designs with hundreds upon hundreds of interior cuts. You can make simplistic projects just like this that still have powerful meanings for the Christmas season. And since what we need to do now is drill the 1/4 inch holes to accept the dowel rod later on in the video, let's move the camera and do that now. And over here on the drill press, we are taking our 1/4 inch drill bit and drilling out all of the holes that will accept the dowel rod later in the video. But then we can head over to the scroll saw and begin scrolling. For all of the scrolling on this project, I'll be using a number 5 Ultra reverse tooth blade, and it will cut through the material exceptionally well with minimal chip out. If you guys would like to try this design, it's available as a free pattern download over at Steve Good's scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com website over in his free pattern catalog, and it is one of his older designs. Going through here, cutting out all of the pieces, and again, there is no internal cuts on this project, which is rare for a scroll saw design, but I still think the simplicity will make a very beautiful design once it's finished. Of course, I am taking my time and letting the blade do the work, and as I cut out each individual layer, I'm setting it over to the side, cutting out an angel now that'll go at the top of the tree. Of course, I am taking my time and letting the blade do the work. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. And it doesn't take long at all to cut this project out. I didn't break a blade. I was just being as loyal as I could be to the cut line. And the material we're using here, the cedar fence picket, scrolls exceptionally well with minimal chip out, which is always good when it comes time for sanding. But we are cutting out the final piece here, and all of the scroll saw work will be done. Again, it didn't take long to cut everything out. But now over here on the workbench, all of the pieces are removed from the waste wood, and I am stacking all of the pieces in order, and Steve Good has all the parts numbered on the pattern pack. And we have our very first visual. But before going over to sanding, we need to drill the 1/4 inch hole in the base of the angel to accept that dowel rod. So I've put the 1/4 inch drill bit in the drill here, and that's what we are doing now, getting it as centered as possible. But now we will sand everything up with 180 grit Klingspor Woodworking Shop sandpaper in the vibrating palm sander. And I'll sand the front and back of each of the individual pieces here. And then we will head back over to the workbench, because not all of the sanding will be done. I will grab my sanding pad, and what I'm doing here is just knocking off the sharp corners here on each of the layers, and only on one side of the layer, not both sides. And I will not show you guys all of this process, but I did go around each of the individual layers. But then it was time to glue everything together. And what I'll be doing is using medium grade CA glue and activator. I was just lining everything up to help with the assembly process. And of course the CA glue and activator basically bonds instantly. And then now it's just a matter of adding a little glue and adding the layers one at a time. And you can see that I am staggering the layers to give the tree a lifelike, bushy appearance, like a real life Christmas tree would have. But after all of the layers are glued on, I will let everything dry and cure for around 5 minutes before coming back and cutting the dowel rod to its proper length and attaching the angel at the top. And while I'm waiting for the glue to completely cure before adding a finish, I figured I would show you guys all of the Christmas trees. Here is the family Christmas tree in the family room with all of the heirloom ornaments on it. And at the top of the tree is the peace doves from my grandparents and their portrait. Very symbolic for the family. But then I also have the tree in the model train room with all of the classic train ornaments going around. And then even my fish get into the Christmas spirit. We bought a little Christmas tree for the fish tank that is appropriate for their aquatic nature. You can see it there beside the pirate ship, and the fish are swimming around happily. And even the workshop has some Christmas cheer with the little Christmas tree on the guitar amplifier. But by now all of the CA glue was completely cured, and all that was left to do was add a finish. And I gave the project several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss, and once that dried, the project was complete. And here we have the completed miniature Christmas tree cut out completely over on the scroll saw from start to finish, and it finished up beautifully. That grain texture really popped when we added the clear coat to it. Really neat. Cut out of a basic cedar fence picket that I picked up for $1.50 at the local Builders Discount Center. We're getting a lot of mileage out of those cedar fence pickets. This is the second project we've brought to life using that material. It took me around 25 minutes to scroll the project out completely from start to finish. It's not an overly complex design. And speaking of the design, thank you, Steve Good, for this beautiful and creative scroll saw woodworking project. Of course, it's one of his older designs, so you might have to search Christmas or Christmas tree in the pattern catalog for this project to come up if you guys would like to try it out in your garage or workshops. But as I said, it only took me around 25 minutes. It's not an overly complex design. As a matter of fact, it's fairly simplistic in nature with no internal cuts whatsoever. All the cuts you do on this small project are outside perimeter cuts where you are simply following the line, taking your time and letting the blade do the work and being as loyal as you can be to the cut line. But as you can see, everything came out nice and crisp. And again, the Rust-Oleum clear gloss really made that cedar grain texture pop. If you didn't have any cedar or nicer material out in your workshop, you could of course cut this out of a lighter shade of maybe pine and then go in and stain everything a nice color, or go in with acrylic craft paints and go above and beyond and make the tree look as lifelike as possible. And as always, if you do have exotic or hardwoods out in your shop, you could mill those down to the proper dimensions and make the same exact project. Speaking of the dimensions, in the pattern pack Steve Good offers, it suggests 3/4 inch material. The cedar fence pickets we have now been using come in rough sawn 3/8 inch thicknesses or thereabout. Again, they're very rough cut. I ran them through the thickness planer to make that beautiful cedar grain texture pop, and basically what I've done was used it and interpreted it in a thinner material. So the material here is not quite 3/4 inch in thickness. It's right at it, but not quite true. I'm sure the 3/4 inch thickness would bulk it up a little bit and make it look that much more nicer. But still, for what it is, I think it came out great and really neat. I'm really happy with how this came out, and I feel it would be an appropriate gift to give to somebody that might not be able to have a full-size Christmas tree in their living space, maybe a small studio apartment, or maybe they want a little bit of Christmas decor in their office cubicle on their desk or something. This would make an appropriate gift to give to some people. And now that we are in the cooler months, it's taken longer and longer for paint, stains, and clear coats to dry completely, so I will have to let this dry and cure completely overnight, and then I can flip it on its side and clear coat the bottom and the base there. And you can see in the center the 1/4 inch dowel rod we used that added structural support through the center during the assembly process. But I'm really happy with how it came out. It has the beautiful Christmas angel at the top, which is an appropriate topper for a Christmas tree, representing some of the good meaning of the Christmas season and the true meaning of the Christmas season. But you guys know I love Christmas trees. I love decorating them. I love seeing how people theme them to the things that they like, to movies they like, or even characters they like and things like that. We have the traditional family Christmas tree in the family room, and it of course has all of the family heirloom ornaments that have been passed down year after year after year. Some of them are older than me, dating back to the 1960s and 70s, but we pack them away carefully every year at the end of Christmas with love and care and bring them out, and all the memories come flooding back. We have all of the family Christmas bells that were made out of ceramics by my mom and grandma that we have every year that has all of the family names on it. And that tree just has a lot of meaning for me personally, just thinking back to Christmases past. And then of course I have the tree in the model train room that has all the classic Christmas train ornaments on it, and then a train going around the base. I have the Christmas tree over here on the guitar amplifier just for a little bit of Christmas cheer and flair out here in the workshop during the Christmas and holiday season. And now I have this nice little miniature one to add to the ever-growing Christmas tree collection. Remember, we also made one over on the laser. So really, really neat. I'm really happy with how this project came out, and I hope in some way, shape, or form you might have picked up a tip or tidbit along the way. As I said at the beginning of the video, with the simplicity of this project, I feel that with the appropriate guidance, it would be a great project to introduce the little ones to scroll saw woodworking out in a garage or workshop. And if you made something like this with them, it would be a cherished Christmas memory to pass on year after year. So just something to think about, but really cool. One more look at it. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll click that subscribe button, and also follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social media feeds will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.